Imagine building your life in the UK, spending so many years studying, working, paying your taxes, even with your family, following all the rules to the T, spending so many years of your life in the UK. And finally, when it's time for you to settle and apply for your indefinite leave to remain, it is denied. Why? Because of how much time you spent outside the UK. I'm guessing some people have not really heard about this rule and how this can stand in the way of your ILR. We're going to be going into the details of these and more in today's video, so please stay tuned while we dive right into it. My name is Tochi. You're welcome to my channel. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up as you're watching so YouTube can recommend it to more people. Kindly share it to everyone that needs to hear of this information, and to all my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. You're welcome back to today's video. If you're yet to subscribe, please click on that subscribe button right now. Thank you. What if I tell you that the number of days you spent outside the UK can actually affect your ILR application and might even lead to your deportation? Now, this isn't just theory. Let's go into a real life case. Let's say something that just happened recently, and trust me, you're going to be shocked. Oxford historian faces deportation from UK after doing research on India in India. A high-achieving academic has been threatened with deportation from the UK because the Home Office says she has spent too many days conducting her research, requiring access to historic Indian archives stored in India. Now, Manikanita, 37, a historian, conducted the research as part of her academic commitments to the University of Oxford, which involved studying archives in cities in India and attending a series of international conferences. This lady lives in the UK with her family. Just a background: she lives in the UK with her family. She's 37 years old and she's a researcher, okay? And part of her commitment, or part of her job, is to conduct research, and it requires her to always travel to India to do that, right? I'm guessing she spends so much time there whenever she travels, and then she comes back into the UK, and this happens often because she has to always travel. Obviously, she's doing her research, you know, so she always has to travel out and come into the UK a lot, you know. And now it was now time for her to apply for her indefinite leave to remain. She applied under the 10 years continuous route. So after 10 years in the UK, and guess what? Her husband has also applied for his indefinite leave to remain, and he got it. And when it was her turn to apply, hers was denied. You know what the Home Office said? That according to the Home Office rules, people who apply for indefinite leave to remain in the UK based on long residency of 10 years or more can be abroad for a maximum of 548 days during a 10-year period prior to applying for indefinite leave to remain. Dota was away for 691 days. Now, other academics have experienced the same problem with the Home Office regarding the amount of time they spend abroad. So, under the Home Office rule on a continuous residency route, let's even see what the Home Office is saying, right? Now, this is indefinite leave to remain if you've been in the UK for 10 years long residency. So yeah, you're going to see the requirements, eligibility criteria, everything when you're applying through the long residency period of 10 years, you know. So let's see if you spent time abroad before 11th of April 2024. There are different rules for periods of time abroad that started before 11th of April 2024. You will not have continuous residence if you were abroad for more than 184 days in a row, 548 days in total. Only periods of time abroad that started before 11th of April 2024 count towards the 548 days. Now, that is the rule, okay? And the Home Office said that this lady she was away for 691 days. And that's over the maximum period that is required of you to spend abroad, okay? Along with the rejection of her right to continue living in the UK based on the number of days abroad, the Home Office rejected her right to remain in the country on the basis that she does not have a family life in Britain, although she and her husband have been married for more than 10 years and live together in South London. So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, so now what is the basis of the family life? Is family not your spouse and children? And she has lived in the UK with her husband for over 10 years. So on what basis are they now saying she does not have the right to be in the UK on the basis of family life? And here's the thing where this is very heartbreaking, especially when I was going through it. All those absences, all those time she spent, it wasn't for holiday or frivolities. She was doing a research. It was part of her commitment as a researcher, as an academia. She was doing that. And obviously they even said in this that she's not the only one that has had that kind of challenge before. But this is what the rule said. And we know that the rule is the rule. And we all know what they say, that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. That's what the Home Office would say, obviously, because that's more than the permitted limit. Okay, she spent over 600 days. And another thing that was quite sad about the story is that they even asked her to leave. So imagine, not only was your ILR application denied, you were also asked to leave the UK. Like, why? After spending so many years in the UK. Like, sometimes I just feel like these laws can be harsh, but I'm sure somebody is going to tell me a rule is a rule, right? But I feel like they should have considered her. She didn't travel because she enjoyed traveling or because she was going on holiday. She wasn't just going for the fun of it. She did it because she had to do it, and that was part of her work as a researcher, you know. So that was quite heartbreaking. Like, reading this thing is so sad, and I'm sure you're already sad watching this video, but I'm also sharing this thing because it's an eye-opener, and so that you know, if you love traveling, if you have something taking you out of the UK all the time, you have to always be aware, go through the rules thoroughly, make sure you understand what it says so that you don't exceed the number of days that is required of you to spend outside the UK. Because most times these stories are shared for all of us to learn from. Now, who would have even thought that people have been affected? And like they said here, she is not the only one that has been affected. A lot of other people have also been affected by this rule. You know, sometimes when you're reading rules from the Home Office website, we're just reading, you must not do this, you must not do that. Probably we feel like, oh, it's just there. But guess what? A lot of people are facing the consequences of not sticking to that rule, or of not sticking to a particular rule. No matter how insignificant you think it is still a rule, and they check all those things when you are applying. And for me, it was just the fact that they said they're going to deport her. That's the saddest thing about this story. Like, why? What do you want her to do? Throw away all the years, all the times, everything. Now, daughter is now an assistant professor at University College Dublin in the School of History. She has once worked in the universities of Oxford and Bristol, right? She lives in Welling with her husband, fellow academic doctor, a senior lecturer in imperial and post-colonial history at the University of Glasgow. Now, this was what she said. She said, "I was shocked when I got an email saying I have to leave. You know, I have been employed at different universities in the UK, and I've lived here for 12 years. A large part of my adult life have been lived in the UK since I came to the University of Oxford to do my master's. I never thought something like this would happen to me." Like, just imagine at this point, your whole life is just going to flash before you. You're going to question a lot of things. Like, why? For something that was not really her fault. You know why I say it's not really her fault? See this. These research trips were not optional, but essential to fulfilling her academic and institutional obligations. Had she not undertaken these trips, she would not have been able to complete her thesis, meet the academic requirements of her institutions, or maintain her visa status. Because this is what she's doing in the UK, and this is what's keeping her in the UK. She's on this visa, on this study visa, and if she doesn't do what she's supposed to do on this study visa, she won't be able to stay. And all of a sudden, when it was now time for her to finally apply, for her to settle, you know, to just rest from visas and everything, she now got the shocker of her life, telling her that it cannot be granted because of the number of days she spent outside the UK, right? That she spent more than 600 days. Now, when she applied for this indefinite leave to remain, her husband also applied, and his application was granted, while hers was refused. She applied for an administrative review of the refusal, but the Home Office maintained its decision to reject her application. That's too sad. Oh my goodness. So the review concluded you must now leave the United Kingdom. Can you imagine? If you don't leave voluntarily, you may be subject to a re-entry ban of 10 years and prosecuted for overstaying. So she should leave her husband. Her husband is here in the UK. He has got his indefinite leave to remain. Should she now leave the UK and now go and stay outside the UK without her husband? Like, I don't understand this. The husband said that this decision of the Home Office has been terribly stressful for them. Like, it's going to be stressful for anybody. It has taken a psychological toll. I sometimes give lectures about these issues and I have read articles about people affected, but never thought it would happen to us. Now, for those who are on a skilled worker visa, let's see, the requirement for a skilled worker visa, okay? Indefinite leave to remain if you have a skilled worker, health and care worker visa and all of that, This is it. If you've spent time outside the UK, you must have spent no more than 180 days outside the UK in any 12 months. Okay? Can you see it? You must have spent not more than 180 days outside the UK in any 12 months. Now, this is it. If you're on a skilled worker visa, health and care worker visa, and hope to apply for ILR soon. And I think you need to read this thoroughly, internalize it, understand it perfectly, just so that you don't make mistakes, just so that this doesn't happen to you. Because the husband said that he has even read articles of people that were affected. He has been seeing it on the news, reading it. He just didn't know or think that it was going to affect them. So she has launched a legal challenge against the Home Office decision to remove daughter from the UK. And the Home Office has responded by saying it will reconsider its decision in the next 3 months. However, the Home Office may confirm its original decision after the 3-month period, and until then, daughter is in limbo. So the lawyer said, my client's case exemplifies how such situations severely undermine the UK's reputation and its ability to attract and retain global academic talent, particularly at a time when strengthening international relations is crucial. So he was just saying that, without such approach, UK universities will continue to lose highly skilled PhD researchers in whom they have invested years of resources, expertise, and funding. The Home Office spokesman said, it is long-standing government policy that we do not routinely comment on individual cases. So they will not comment on this, but once it's time to give the decision is going to be out. Yeah, as much as this is really heartbreaking, this is also eye-opening for all of us as well, because I've come to understand that it is about the tiny details, those minute, those small details that people can easily ignore or neglect, right? It's just about it. That normally you would just say, oh, if you've spent the number of years required of you to get ILR, once you're eligible and apply, you're definitely going to get it. But no, it's not like that. There's so many things. These are why they have requirements you have to meet. They have eligibility criteria, they have requirements you have to meet, and they look at those things. If you don't meet those requirements, if you're found wanting, if you're found being in breach of your visa, they're going to take action. And this is the part where it's going to affect you. So do not overlook anything and feel like, oh, they haven't caught anybody before, so yours is going to be different. No, yours might even be the one where they're going to now hold you, So it's always good to play safe at every point in time. As people living generally, as migrants, anywhere you are, it's good to always play safe. It's good to always play safe. And if you are an Ajala, traveler that loves to always travel outside the UK, it's always good to keep dates, keep track of the time spent out and the times you go out, the times you come in. It's just good. Take record, just so that it doesn't catch you off balance, because all those trips, all those times you spend out are always counted. So make sure that you're always on the safe side. And if you have forgotten or you're not quite sure, go on the government website, read thoroughly. If you want to speak to an expert, please do so, because this is not an expert advisor. I'm not an immigration advisor. I'm sharing this strictly for information purpose, right? Just so that all of us can learn and be safe. Right? Thank you everyone for watching. I really want to hear what you guys think about this in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation there. We wish this young lady and her family all the best, and I hope that the case ends in her favor. So yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video. I'll see you all in my next one. Bye bye.